in this text in chapter 16 through 20. Do I keep going?
Please keep going.
Okay. Specimen collection involves a combination of medical and surgical aseptic techniques. Certain parts of the collection material, such as needles, swabs, and the insides of the specimen containers, must remain sterile. If a culture medium is used during collection of microbiologic specimen, the medical assistant must ensure that the lid of the container is removed only when the specimen is placed on the culture medium. Unnecessary removal of the lid results in contamination of the culture medium with extraneous microorganisms, which interferes with accurate test results. During the collection and handling of the specimen, the medical assistant must be careful to use medical and surgical asepsis to prevent contamination of the specimen, the patient, or himself or herself.
Let's see here. Talia, can you go ahead and read the next two paragraphs, please?
Where are we at?
Where it says the medical assistant must collect the specimen using proper technique. Page 560.
I'm all the way ahead. Okay.
It's going to be the last paragraph on that page.
Okay. The medical assistant must collect the specimens using a proper technique. The proper type of specimen must be collected by the instructor that accompany the test system. The collection procedure should be followed exactly to ensure high quality and reliable specimen. For example, collections of random urine specimen when a clean catch midstream specimen is required may affect the accuracy of the test results. The medical assistant must be sure to collect the amount of specimen necessary for the test, which varies depending on the type of test being performed and the number of laboratory tests ordered on the specimen. If the medical assistant fails to collect the specific amount of specimen that is being transferred to an outside laboratory, the laboratory may not be able to perform the test and the laboratory request is returned, marked with quantity, not sufficient, QNS. This situation warrants calling the patient back to the collection of another specimen.
All right, very good. I want you guys to highlight those last two sentences for number 7. All right, Jasmine, can you go ahead and read number 8, please? Lily, can you read number 8, please?
Process the specimen. The specimen may need to be processed after collection. For example, when collecting a serum specimen using a serum separator tube, the medical assistant must allow the tube to stand for 45 minutes and then centrifuge the specimen to separate the serum cells gel barrel as shown in figure 15.15.
All right, very good. So ladies, go ahead and look at figure 15.15 really quick. So do you remember how a while ago we kept seeing the words SST? This is what an SST tube looks like. This is an example. SST means serum separator tube. Now in figure 15.15, this is a picture of what I call a tiger top. You see how the very top rubber stopper is kind of multicolor? This is what that looks like. This is a very common SST tube that you may use in your office. All right. Natalie, can you go ahead and read number 9, please?
Properly handle and store a specimen to preserve its in vivo physical and chemical characteristics. Some specimens, such as microbiologic specimens, are more sensitive to environmental influences and must be handled with special care. Whenever possible, laboratory tests are best performed in fresh specimens for more specimens within 1 hour after collection, because they yield the most reliable test results. When this is not possible, the specimen must be stored. Storage may be required until it can be tested at the medical office or picked up by a laboratory courier from an outside laboratory. If the specimen is being picked up by a laboratory courier, the OSHA standard requires that it be placed in a biohazard specimen bag, figure 15.16, to protect the courier from the possibility of an exposure incident. General guidelines for handling and storing biological specimens are most frequently collected in the medical office are presented in table 15.4.
All right, very good. Okay, so ladies, I want you to highlight the first sentences on 1 through 9. Again, highlight the first sentences on 1 through 9. And then we're going to go on to page 564. All right, any questions up to this point? Everybody's doing okay so far? All right. Sabrina, can you please read clinical laboratory improvement amendments for the purpose of clinical laboratory improvement amendments?
Congress passed the Clinical Laboratory Improvement Amendments of 1988, which established standards for improving the quality of laboratory testing in the United States. CLIA consists of federal regulations governing all facilities that perform laboratory tests for health assessment or for the diagnosis, prevention, or treatment of disease. CLIA of 1988 included facilities not previously covered under federal legislation, such as medical office, health departments, and nursing homes. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, is a division of the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS. The CMS is responsible for regulating and operating the CLIA program. In addition to the following CLIA regulations, a clinical laboratory must be in compliance with all other federal, state, and local laboratory legislation.
All right, very good. Talia, go ahead and read number 1, waived tests.
A wave test is a laboratory test that has been determined by HHS to meet the CLIA criteria for being a sample procedure that is easy to perform and has a low risk erroneous test results. Wave tests include the test that's been approved by the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, for use by the patients at home that performs only wave tests must apply for a certificate of wave CW from CMS, which exempts them from many of the CLIA oversight requirements. The CW must be renewed every 2 years. You want me to keep going or no?
Yes, ma'am, please.
PLS holds a CW are still experienced adhere to good laboratory practices. The manufacturer most current instructions that accompany the test system must be followed. These include the following: proper storage of the test system, adherence to expiration dates, proper collection and handling of the specimen, performance of quality control and procedures, proper test of the specimen, interpretation of the test results, documentation of test results.
All right, very good. Thank you. Alicia, can you please read number 2 for moderate complexity test?
A moderate complexity test is a non-wave test that is subject to the CLIA regulations. Moderate complexity tests account for 75% of the estimated 7 to 10 billion laboratory tests performed in the United States each year. Most of these tests are performed in outside laboratories, which include hospitals and independent laboratories. Some medical offices perform moderate complexity tests known as a provider-performed microscopy, PPM procedures, which involve the examination of specimen under the microscope. An example of a PPM procedure is the microscopic analysis of a urine sediment. Other moderate complexity tests are usually occasionally performed in a medical office include urine and throat cultures and hematology and blood chemistry tests performed with non-wave automated blood analyzers. I can't talk today.
That's okay. I can't either. Very good. All right. So on number 2, you're just going to highlight the first sentence. All right, Jasmine, will you read number 3, please?
A high complexity test is a non-wave test that is subject to CLIA regulations. High complexity tests include all procedures related to cytogenetics, histopathology, histocompatibility, and cytology. Includes PAP tests. These tests are not performed in medical offices. Most are performed in laboratories already subject to federal regulations.
All right, very good. You're going to highlight the first sentence and the last sentence on number 3. Requirements for moderate complexity and high complexity testing. Laboratories that perform non-wave tests, moderate to high complexity tests, must meet CLIA regulations and are subject to unannounced inspections every 2 years by CMS. Major components of CLIA of 1988 regulations include the following. Number 1, patient test management. A system must be established to maintain optimal integrity and identification of patient specimens throughout the testing process. Highlight that sentence. This test must also ensure accurate reporting of results. Number 2, quality control. To ensure accurate and reliable test result, each laboratory performing non-wave test must establish and follow written quality control procedures that monitor and evaluate the quality of each testing process. These include the following: developing a laboratory procedures manual, performing calibration procedures at least every 6 months, highlight that sentence, following the manufacturer's instructions for performing controls, highlight, but at a minimum performing 2 levels of controls daily, and documenting results in a quality control log. Number 3, quality assessment. Number 4, proficiency testing, PT, highlight that. Also in number 4, highlight that 3 times a year, the POL must test a shipment of these unknown specimens using the same procedure as for testing a patient specimen. On page 566, number 5, personal requirements. CLIA waived laboratory test. Jasmine, will you read the first paragraph, please?
where it says testing a laboratory specimen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Testing a laboratory specimen involves performing a series of steps to determine the presence or measurement of a specific substance in the specimen. Most that are CLIA waived, and the medical assistant is usually responsible for performing these tests. Because of this, the remainder of this chapter focuses on guidelines that should be applied when CLIA waived tests are performed.
Very good. Thank you. All right, Lily, can you read the second paragraph, please?
Approximately 1,600 CLIA wave tests are commercially available that test for 120 different analyses. An analyte is a substance that is being identified or measured in the laboratory tests, such as glucose, hemoglobin, or group A streptococci. The number of wave tests is expected to increase as new technology becomes available. To help the medical office keep current with the CLIA wave test, the HHS maintains a website at the FDA also maintains a website that provides information on all commercially available CLIA wave test systems categorized by an analyte, the name of the test system. This website can be accessed at CLIA wave tests are frequently in the medical office through the following.
All right, very good. Okay, so on the second paragraph, I want you to highlight where it says, let me go back. On the first paragraph, highlight where it says most PLs perform only tests that are CLIA waived. In the next paragraph, I want you to highlight where it says an analyte is a substance that is being identified or measured in a laboratory test, such as glucose, hemoglobin, or group A streptococci. And then I want you to highlight where it says CLIA wave tests that are performed most frequently in the medical office include the following. Highlight urinalysis and fecal testing. Highlight urine pregnancy test. Highlight fecal occult blood testing. On the blood chemistry and immunology, highlight blood glucose determination. CLIA waived testing kits. A laboratory testing kit consists of a box packaged with devices and supplies needed to perform a laboratory test and generate test results. Each kit contains enough testing materials to perform a specific number of tests as indicated on the box label. Most of these tests are screening tests, and a positive result may indicate the need for further testing. Examples of CLIA wave testing kits, figure 15.17, includes the HemoCult fecal occult blood test, the QuickVue one-step HCG urine pregnancy test, and the QuickVue inline strep A test. Each testing kit comes with a product insert, also known as a package insert. Information included in the product insert is outlined in Table 15.5. The medical assistant should read the entire product insert before performing the test and should follow the instructions exactly to ensure accurate and reliable test results. Highlight those words. Also highlight that of particular importance are the quality control procedures, which must be carefully followed when working with the testing kit. This area is discussed in greater detail later in this section. The testing kit may include a quick reference card, which is a condensed version of the steps in the testing procedure and can be used as a guide when performing the test. Because the quick reference card is only a synopsis, I can't say that word very good today, of the testing procedure, it should never be substituted for the product insert when learning about the test and how to perform it. Testing kits have specific stability and storage requirements that must be carefully followed. Before a testing kit is used, its expiration date must be checked. If the testing kit is outdated, the testing components may no longer be stable. Expired components must not be used to prevent inaccurate test results. Light, heat, and moisture can alter the effectiveness of a testing kit and cause premature expiration of the kit. The medical assistant should make sure to store testing kits according to the information in the product insert. This information is also indicated on the package label. Most testing kits are stored at room temperature. Testing kits are often use a unitized testing device to perform the test. A unitized testing device consists of a self-contained device such as a cassette to which a specimen is added directly in and in which all steps of the testing procedure occur. Figure 15.18. A utilized device is used to perform one laboratory test, for example, a urine pregnancy test, and it's discarded after testing. Many of the testing devices included in testing kits rely on a color change for interpretation of results. A color chart or color diagram is provided with the kit for making a visual comparison and interpreting results. When test results are documented, the brand name of the testing kit should be specified. Some offices also require the lot number of the testing kit be included with the documentation. On table 15.5, I would like for you ladies to highlight the words quality control and highlight that first sentence next to quality control. Alicia, can you read CLIA waived automated analyzers, please?
CLIA waived automated analyzers have been developed for performing laboratory tests in the medical office. They are continually growing in number and are being modified as new technology becomes available. These analyzers consist of compact and handheld devices that permit the processing of a specimen in a short period of time with accurate test results. Reagent strips or test cassettes are often used with CLIA waived analyzers. Test results are obtained through a direct digital display or printed readout. Figure 15.19. You want me to read more?
If you don't mind, go ahead and read the next two paragraphs.
Okay. The ease of operating automated systems should not lead to a false sense of security because these symptoms have limitations that must be recognized. The most critical one being the failure of the equipment. One of the most important aspects of using an automated system is the ability to recognize signs that indicate the system is malfunctioning. Because malfunctioning may lead to inaccurate test results. The manufacturer of each automated system provides an operating manual and sometimes an instructional video with the instrument that includes information needed to collect and handle the specimen. Perform quality control procedures and tests in the specimen. In addition, the manufacturer typically has personnel available for on-site training and service. It is important that the medical assistant become completely familiar with all the aspects.
That's okay. Jasmine, go ahead and read the next two paragraphs.
Where are we?
I didn't finish it.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish it.
No, you're. I was like, wait, what? Okay. Familiar with all the aspects of the automated used to perform laboratory tests in his or her medical office. Quality control procedures are of particular importance to ensure that the analyzer is functioning properly and that the test results are reliable and accurate. Additional information on quality control procedures is presented later in the section. Okay, there you go.
When an automated analyzer is purchased, the testing components, example controls, testing reagents, are usually purchased separately. The medical assistant is responsible for checking the supplies periodically and reordering them as needed. Each testing component comes with a product insert, which indicates the proper storage and stability requirements. Most testing components are stored at room temperature. If a testing component needs to be stored in the refrigerator, it must be allowed to come to room temperature before it is used. Unopened controls are stable until the expiration date marked on the container. Once open, some controls are stable only for a certain period of time, which is 30 days. For these controls, the medical assistant must write the date the control was opened and the date it should be discarded, expiration date, on the label of the control. Some examples of brand names of CLIA-waived automated analyzers, figure 15.20, include Cholestech, LDX, Cholestech, Hayward, Calib, StatSite, Hemoglobin Meter, StanBio Laboratory, Born Tex, Coagucheck System, and Accucheck, Roche Diagnostics, Branchburg. That's supposed to be New Jersey.
Yes.
Oh, okay. A1, Now, Bayer Corporation, Warrensville, New Jersey, and Clinitech Urine and the Analyzer, Simons Corporation, New York, New York.
Very good. Thank you, ladies. Okay. So I want you ladies to take a quick look at figure 15.18 and figure 15.19. So figure 15.18 is an example of utilizing testing device. This is a pretty common, in this case, this would be an HCG test, pregnancy test. Some offices do have figure 15.19, the digital readout, and that's just what that looks like. All right, so the next one is the quality control. The ultimate goal in the clinical laboratory is to ensure that the laboratory test accurately measures what is supposed to measure. This involves practicing and maintaining quality control program. Quality control, QS, may be identified as the application of methods and means to ensure the test results are reliable and valid, and errors that may interfere with obtaining accurate test results are detected and eliminated. Highlight that sentence. Practicing quality patient's condition and body functions and provide the provider with reliable information for making a diagnosis and prescribing treatment. Quality control is an ongoing process. Collection, handling, transport, and testing. The quality control methods that should be used to obtain precision and accuracy when using a CLIA-waived test system are presented here. Okay. On number 1, I want you to highlight A and B. On 2, I want you to highlight C. On 3, I want you to highlight the first sentence. On 4, in the second paragraph, I want you to highlight the first sentence. In the third paragraph, I want you to highlight where it says a low-level control, also known as a level 1 control, produces results that fall below the reference range for the test. Highlight a high test control, also known as level 2 control, produces results that fall above the reference range for the test. Right above A, highlight that failure of a control to produce expected results may be caused by deterioration of testing components after improper storage or use of the components past their expiration date, improper environmental testing conditions, and errors in technique used to perform the procedure. And then highlight the first sentence on C. So if you ladies take a look on figure 15.22 on page 570, that is what the internal control, that's what it looks like. And some of you have probably already realized this, and maybe in some tests that you might have taken at home or at the office if you've ever looked at them. Figure 15.23 3, these are the external controls, which means we have to add these substances to the test. Any questions so far, ladies? All right, I want you ladies to go and turn to page 572. And before we go for the day, I want to go ahead and look at where it says qualitative test results and quantitative test results. Alicia, can you read the qualitative test results for me?
Qualitative test results indicate whether or not a substance is present in the specimen being tested. They also provide an approximate indication of the amount of substance present. Interpretation of qualitative results usually involves the use of a color comparison chart or a color diagram. Results are documented in terms of 1 plus 2 positive or 3 positive, trace small or moderate or large, negative or positive, or reactive or non-reactive. Testing kits usually provide qualitative test results.
All right, very good. So I want you ladies to highlight that very first sentence on qualitative. All right, Jasmine, can you read quantitative, please?
Quantitative test results indicate the exact amount of a chemical substance that is present in the body. Results are reported in measurable units. No interpretation is required to read quantitative results. Automated analyzers provide quantitative test results, with the results being printed out or displayed on the LCD screen of the analyzer.
Very good. Okay, so for quantitative, I want you to highlight the first sentence. Now, after reading those two, how can you, what way can you think of explaining what the qualitative test is going to show and the quantitative test is going to show?
The qualitative test shows whether or not a substance is present, but the quantitative shows the exact amount of the chemical substance that is present.
Very good. All right, so when we draw the HCG test, our pregnancy test through the blood, this is where you're going to commonly have to decide which test results are we wanting? Are we wanting qualitative or are we wanting quantitative? And in most cases, you're going to need to ask your provider which one he or she is going to want to draw. Okay, so I want you ladies to make sure that over the weekend, you go ahead and make sure that you're reading chapter 15. Make sure you look over the procedures and the figures and the terminology review in the chapter.